If you like a DIY on how you can make an affordable and easy Audrey 2, then you came to the right place. For this build, you'll need some fake foliage, a foam football, glue sticks, a glue gun, and something sharp besides your wit, and a pack of fake nails. And of course, any optional things to get creative, like pipe cleaners, googly eyes, etc. You'll also need some paint and a paintbrush. I prefer both spray and acrylic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one of those in real time, show you how easy it really is, and of course maybe answer some questions along the way. So the first thing is I went down to the local dollar type store. You can go to Dollar Tree, Dollarama, thrift stores, garage sales, in your junk drawer, raid the kids' toy box, whatever you can to get one of these squishy, foamy type footballs. I picked up, it's kind of hard now. Summer you usually get a good selection of leaves, so this is all I could find at the Dollar Tree, and it seems like every dollar store has a different amount of different types of leaves and foliage that you can use. I did get my big pack of nails that I paid $1 for about 80 of these, and I used them all on my other props. So I did manage to find these ones, and what I did like about these for $1 is that they're already cut and pointy. So that's going to save me a little bit of cutting. With these ones, it's real easy. Just take a pair of scissors, cut them into a shape of some teeth. I pre-did a bunch of them and put them back in the package to go. So I'm going to make a little one right here. Now, a lot of the things that people do is they cut straight across the seam. And you can do that. There's nothing wrong with it. But what you're going to end up with is two halves of a football. It's going to not quite have that look of a live plant or anything like that. So you want something a little bit more organic. So I'm just going to put some paper out here. What I like to do is I use, on my other props, I used one of those electric carving knives, and unfortunately I wrecked it. Not by doing this, I think it was just old, and I think it was just too much for it. But I did manage to find this nice little fillet knife that's very sharp and very thin. So what I'm going to do is, instead of just cutting across the seam, is I'm going to cut some wiggly patterns there, just randomly, so it kind of just looks like a mouth. Well, that's all kind of off shape and kilter. So be careful if you're doing this. I wouldn't let my kids do this. I would do it for them. So pre-cut them. Let your kids do the rest of it. So what I'm going to do is just keep an eye on your hands and stuff. Is just start cutting some wavy kind of patterns across that grain of what you got there. And you go right through the whole thing. You don't have to worry about stopping unless you want it partly open. I got some that are partly open, which is kind of cool too. And so here's the mouth. You can see now it's all jagged and it's got some kind of weird form. You don't have to worry about the color and stuff because you're going to be painting it anyways. And you can decide, how you want your mouth to be. Is it going to be open that much or that much? What I do is I just break off the two halves, and there I go. The next part, after you cut that wiggly shape, that's the key there right there to get a more natural kind of look. And you can have it where the lip comes up. You can do all sorts of funny things to it. Is I'm going to cut the center out here to just kind of give it some volume or some depth in the mouth. And I got to decide which way I'm going to make this mouth here too. So I think I kind of like that lip look in there, but I don't like the top. So I think I'm going to go that way. I kind of like that kind of rounded bull shark mouth there. Kind of looks neat. I might actually trim that up. Yeah, I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna have, maybe I'll go this way. You got to kind of play around, see which one you like. You know what? Actually, I kind of like this shape the best. So I'm going to, after I looked at it, I like this one. I like the way I cut that mouth part there. I'm just going to glue this together exactly how I want it. I'll probably trim off some of this stuff so it sits exactly what I want. You can play around with angles and things. But here I'm just going to carve out the center. All I'm cutting right in the center is just a kind of a diamond shape. And I'm going to use my fingers, and I'm just going to dig in there and pull out that foam. And you don't want to throw this away, because this is going to be your tongue. Because now I can invert this, and it becomes my cool little tongue. It actually looks pretty cool because it's kind of goes up into some weird shapes. So I'll do the same for this side here. It gives me a little bit of depth, and it makes it a little bit more hollow, kind of adds to that realism. Again, you don't have to worry about planning it out too much. Just rip it. If it tears the wrong way, that's fine too, because this one was doing a little bit. And then you can decide which tongue you want. Some people want a longer one. Just glue the two together. And now that I've hollowed it out, it looks pretty cool. And now I've got to put the teeth in there. And the best way that I found to put the teeth in there is I just cut a little slit in the foam very carefully all the way around. Doesn't matter what you do for the slit, but again, just keep an eye out on how you want your mouth to go so that you don't get all skewed up. Okay, and then I just put a slit right in between that, and I do the same with the other side. I put the little slit in there, and what that does is two things. One, it's going to hold my teeth in when I put them in, and the other thing, I can use that to help hold the glue in there, so it holds the tooth while I kind of pre-model it to see our trial fit. So now just friction fit in there, I can go and put some of the teeth and get the sizes how I want for these teeth. So I got some big ones. I'll probably put those more towards the back like molars, and then I've got some medium ones, and then I'm going to put a couple of the thinner ones closer to the top. Whoops, they're just falling out because I didn't glue them in yet. There, kind of get that look, and if I'm kind of happy with that, I'm like, okay, that looks pretty darn good. I think I'm going to just start gluing them in. And I don't worry about the color of the teeth because I'm going to paint the whole thing. So I put a little glue in the seam, or you can put it on the individual tooth. And a little hot glue, stick it right in there. Seems to do the trick. And I'll put another little bit of glue there. That's looking pretty cool, I think. And don't worry too much about the little glue pieces on there, because it's a plant. It acts like, you know, the tendrils and stuff like that, so it's really cool that way. Some of the roots. So I kind of like it sometimes, even when the glue starts to kind of stick together, and you get those. On other projects, it's a pain in the butt, but on this one, it just adds to it. So there, I've already got some cool looking teeth coming along there. Didn't take long at all. I put a couple in the front, just to give it a little bit of a vampire look to it. I like the other set of teeth that you can get. So look for the package like this, because you get like 80, so you've got a lot of selection there, and you can do so many different things, which is really nice. Okay, looking good. I love it. Okay, do the same for the bottom, and I'm just going to peel that back a little. I don't have as many as I thought I would. No, I'm going to use some of these ones. 12. Boy, 12 goes by fast for a buck. I like the 80. It gave me a big selection. So I'm going to put a little dab there, a little dab there, put a big piece there. See, it doesn't take long at all. Put a big piece in there. I'm going to show you a little secret later on about how I get this stuff to glow really, really cool. I'm just going to do another one and another one. There we go. I'm going to put some bigger teeth. Sometimes I like a second row on these too, because, you know, weird creatures from space and stuff like that, they always have like 2 layers of teeth, and so I really like it when things are done like that. So I'm going to put a couple in here. And you know what, I might do that. I might throw a couple teeth. This one's a small one, so I try not to you know, go too much on the small ones, but that's looking pretty darn good right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to add a second little layer to that back of this one, just to add some depth to it. Just drop a little bit of glue down there, pop in a couple more teeth. Like that looks kind of neat. And now to glue the whole thing together. Is it that way that I liked it? Yeah, that's the way I liked it. So I'm gonna just angle that just ever so slightly, trim off a little bit of the back. Some people are saying, hey, how'd you get it to stick? Well, it's very light. You're not making it very heavy. So hot glue, which is, you go through a lot of glue sticks when you do this project. I just use the cheap little glue sticks because all my projects I like to do affordably, and I'm on a tight budget like everybody else. So I just put a bunch of glue down there, and I just hold it like that to the shape that I kind of want it. I think that's going to look really cool. Maybe even look better that way. Haven't decided yet. And it actually sticks open. Sometimes what I do is I'll look at it. Watch that hot glue. Luckily that's already drying. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a couple little pearl beads of glue so it doesn't clamp down. These will act kind of as braces in there. Look at that. It's already got the shape of what I want. And whoops, coming across. I'm going to hold that till it dries. And I found just a stick. I'm going to stick that stick through it
You can use any kind of stick, but I like the natural looking things because they kind of bend and turn. And then sometimes I make extra stuff on there, little vines. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. And then there we go. As it's, I think it's just about dry. I'm going to put the tongue in. I forgot to put the tongue in. Sometimes on the really small ones I don't like to. And just going to shape up that tongue because it's too pointy, so I don't like that. I want it to look more like a real tongue. So I'm just going to do a little bit like that, maybe take off a little. I kind of like that look now. And I'm going to sneak that baby right in there. So a little bit of hot glue on the end. And drop it right in there for the tongue. Boom. Look at that. Okay, she's looking good now. Up that tongue a little bit lower. I think that looks cool. Okay, I'm going to take the stick now. I'm just going to, pop a little hole in here that I can get that stick in without having to exert too much force. Be careful if you're sticking the knife in there, you don't stick yourself. A little bit of hot glue. Pop the stick in there. Boom. It's already starting to look like that. That didn't take us long at all, did it? Now what we're going to do is just add some color to that. Now, I tried painting that with a bunch of different acrylic paints, and this stuff works great. I like it. I'll use it for accents and stuff like that now. I'm lazy. I like it fast and quick. So I've got a couple of different kinds of paint. I got one that's kind of rose colored, and I like that because this one here is white inside. If you get one with a pink or red inside, it's great, but this one's kind of white, so it's going to look horrible. So I'm just going to do a quick little spray here. Can't get it all over my house. Whew. Use this as a kind of a base primer. I don't mind the orange on it. There we go. Oh, I'm getting high off this stuff. Okay, it's starting to look really good. I kind of like that look. And now what we're going to do is just let that set up a little bit. But as it's setting up, I can get ready and start dropping some stuff down because I'm fast, I'm lazy, and I'm kind of impatient too. So I like to start gluing some stuff on here. And this is where you can get really creative. You can do anything you want on there, but here's where that adds that extra little, touch of realism to your little Audrey plant here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the glue and I'm going to just start adding some details. Sometimes I trace the mouth out to just add some more depth and make the mouth a little bit more visible. So I add a big glob of glue all around the mouth. It's kind of neat. Sets that kind of lip action going, and you can go thicker if you want. If you had a hot, what do you call that? A hot, not a hairdryer, but one of those hot guns. You can kind of put a big glob on there and kind of melt it down so it looks a little bit better than this. I use this as a 3D printer, by the way, and a hot glue. I make 3D printed crowns and all sorts of different things using a glue gun. And I'm going to do a YouTube channel. I'll show you how to do that and what I do, because I made crowns, like my Game of Thrones, some of you might have seen my Game of Thrones chair. I made the crown out of just glue gun. It cost me $2 to make the Game of Thrones crown by 3D printing with this. And it was it's good because it's light. You can wear it all night. It's not heavy or anything like that, which is what I kind of like. And so you see, I traced around the mouth, and I leave these little things that are hanging on there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some stuff to the sides. I like it because it adds depth. So what I do is I put a little dab of hot glue right there, and then I slowly squeeze the trigger as I drop it down. And that gives me this nice little kind of alien slime kind of thing coming down. These tendrils and stuff. And so I just kind of do that, wiggle it up a little bit. If I want something like, you see Alien, he's got that slime coming down. I'll do that too. I'll squeeze a little bit there, big glob, and then just slowly squeeze so the heat comes out and it doesn't cut too short. And boom, you can see that he's kind of and more slimy. And you could do that again on the other side if you want. And boom, I might throw another layer there just so it kind of, see, now he's kind of looking like, he's got this slime kind of stuff. Do a little bit more on the side, a couple more on this side here just to add, because he's a younger one. You've seen my other ones are kind of big, so I'm kind of making it like he's just popped out of his pod, and he's or she is going crazy. Now here's where you can add some more detail. You can just like add some glue. I wiggle it on there, kind of like, remember those old flames you used to draw in school? You kind of, lightning kind of flames. Well, I do a little bit of that on there. When it's painted up, it looks real nice vines and tendrils and things like that. So I really like that. Add some more on the bottom. Like I said, you go through a lot of glue, that's for sure. I'm kind of actually digging the way this one's coming out. I hope you like it too. Now, that didn't take us very long. I'm going to add some more. You don't worry about the back too much. You're going to cover those with leaves anyways. Or you could just leave it like this. I got a couple that are just the pods and it looks really cool. So I'm going to add some more in here. I do go through a lot of these little glue sticks. Maybe I should buy or invest in a bigger or better one, but I'm cheap. Okay, so I'm going to, for a buck, you can't go wrong. And there we go. I'm going to squeeze some more in there. I'm kind of liking the way it looks. You can always add more as you're painting along too. So if you're not quite happy with it, you can always add after you've gone. And but I'm really liking the way this is coming out. And I don't want to overdo it. And the glue gun's starting to cool down a little bit. I'll let it warm up. But what do you think? That's pretty cool. Okay, and now comes the other part. I'm going to paint a little bit of green on this guy. I'm going to show you after. How you get this thing to glow really cool. I got a secret ingredient I use for a lot of my props and stuff. I'm liking that. Take a look at this. Doesn't that look cool? I'm liking it. Now what I do for the vines and stuff like that is I'll grab some brightly colored acrylic paint and I'll just quickly paint those up so that they kind of pop. I'm making a little bit of a lighter green. See that? So I'll paint that up. It looks cool in black light, by the way, the white, because it glows. But it doesn't quite glow the color I want it to. It glows kind of white, and so I'm not very, very happy by that. But yeah, it looks pretty good. And just a couple quick, dry brushing or just get it a little bit wet on there. Kind of makes it neat. Sometimes I put that on the bigger ones. I'll go put the glue on the inside, and then it really looks freaky. Yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. There we go. You don't have to be too careful. You see, I'm rushing through this thing just to show you everybody how it's all done right from beginning to end. Because you're thinking, hey, that looks cool. Is it complicated? No, it's easy. A little dry brushing on there doesn't hurt. You can mix and match or do whatever you want on there. You see now it's kind of how it's kind of coming along. Kind of scary. Okay. Now I'm going to grab some fluorescent green. Add a little bit of brightness to it, just on some of these areas that are still showing pink. This really shows up cool, these fluorescent paints on UV light or black light. There we go. What are you thinking? Not too bad. I like a little bit of yellow on there too. A lot of times what I do is I'm not good at cleaning my paints, but I like mixing it up anyways. Price is right for these things when I go through so much. Anyways, but I'll put a little yellow. He's got some orange there. I'll touch that up with a little bit of yellow, kind of a fluorescent yellow. It's got a little bit of orange. I think it kind of looks like it's just getting right, which is kind of neat. I might even sponge on some darker browns and stuff like that. Got myself some sponges. So that's always a good thing to do too. Grab this little quick sponge on there. Looks neat. You can get more like an airbrush liquid sponges. Yeah, out of the yellow. There we go. Got a little bit of a bright yellow on there. Kind of looking cool. There we go. And now the teeth. Same thing with the teeth. You're going to want, my brush is dirty. I'm going to have to fix it up with my teeth. I'm just going to throw on some white. Get those teeth back to white again. Put them in maybe a little pot or something. I think it'll look kind of cute in that. Give me a quick second to rinse this brush out. There. Grab the little white. And again, I just like to pour it on my paper here. Make a big mess sometimes. But it's nice because I just grab all the paper and then throw it away. So then again, same thing with the brush. Just get in there with and make the teeth nice and white. It's okay if they're not perfect because he's a monster after all. He's always got little food and stuff like that in there. Doing it quick, you can take your time. I suppose you can make it really screen accurate if you want. But there you go. Real quick and dirty. Putting him in this pot, you'd probably want him to stand up to about like that. This is just a piece of wood. And I'll grab some foam kind of thing here. Again, from the dollar store, so it's relatively inexpensive. It doesn't fit properly, but maybe I'll shorten that down with that. And then what I can do is add some of these things if you want to get really creative. Oh, by the way, this is what I like to do too. I'll take this stick, which looks really good, but then I'll throw some vines on there and then paint this up as well. Sometimes I'll put little thorns on there by just getting the hot glue and then stretching it out as I let it cool. Then stretch it and then you get a thorn and then you just cut that. It looks really cool. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there. You see it's kind of... So I'll just let it go like that. Sometimes I'll swing that stuff around because I'm going to cut that anyways. So it kind of looks really neat. You can add more. Add a couple leaves to the back. That's what we forgot to do. So I just pluck these like a chicken. Throw some more glue. Glue. Can't have enough glue in this project. There we go. And I put glue on the leaf. It's easier to plant where you're going to pop it, or where you're going to put it. Don't touch the glue that's already wet like I do. And then just do it again. Not that it matters because you're just going to leave a bunch of stringy stuff all over the place, which kind of looks neat. And then again, some more glue. Boom. How's that guy looking now? Not too bad. All right, see, I don't wait for things to dry. That's the thing about me. And then, boom. A little bit more on there. Those are pretty cool. And then, again, throw some glue. I was thinking of experimenting with these. I didn't know if this would look cool or not. I thought I'd grab a couple pipe cleaners, and then just kind of twist them together real quick. And then just kind of make some or some vines and things like that. Oh, is that the correct term for? I'm not a horticulturist. I don't know. Kind of like what's that spoon guy off of Toy Story? Sporky, that kind of thing. Just make some kind of weird things that kind of go around and stuff. I'm going to spray paint that green, but you kind of get the idea. Throw a few more like that around. You can experiment with that. Put a little dab of glue or it'll just go everywhere. Fall. And one last shot of paint and I think we're done here. So boom, that didn't take us long. Let me just grab this, kind of see the finished product. Is this the right paint? Nope. Okay. There you go. Didn't take long at all. I don't know how long that took us. What do we got here? I didn't do a countdown clock on there. But simple, quick, easy to do. I'm gonna add some, shrink this down, put some moss on there, maybe a couple leaves on the bottom. But you two can have some crazy creature thing like that. You want to get funky, you can paint his tongue. Some people can put googly eyes. You don't have to follow, screen accurate stuff to have fun with these kind of things. But I hope that you found this somewhat informative. Again, I want to thank everybody that liked what I put up there. I try to do things inexpensively, so follow me, check it out. This is something that you can do relatively inexpensive. I just ran to the old dollar store, and if you don't have a football laying around here, this entire thing, including the potted plant and of course paint remover, only cost me $1, $2, $3, $4, like $5. Great little project for the kids to do before Halloween.
Okay, here's my secret sauce for getting that really good glow. It's Ruby's hairspray. It's black light hairspray. It's clear. Make sure you get the clear one and not the colored. What it does here, just watch as I spray the teeth, and it's safe on most fabric and it washes out. So if you get some overspray on some clothes or anything, you can just wash it right out. But it's really going to look good and glow. Of course, I'm glowing it under black light. It's clear and transparent under regular light. This works on all fabrics and materials and is pretty much safe on anything. I love this stuff. And you can get it at Walmart, Amazon, or online at party shops, dollar stores, and things like that.
Anyways, that's all I've got here. So enjoy it, and please continue to share. Love you guys. Happy Halloween.